On the news at 7, ODSG launches Part Agay campaign for menstrual hygiene well-being. Experts call for improved welfare training to retain Nigeria teachers. Abia State increases core members' allowance to 50,000 naira. And from the foreign scene, Sudan RSF accepts ceasefire proposal amid reports of civilian killings. The Federal University of Technology Osrc has kicked off activities marking its 36th convocation ceremony with a press conference held on the institution's campus. The event formally signaled the commencement of a week-long celebration of academic excellence and innovation. Joy Pius reports.
The Federal University of Technology, Akure FUTA, is set to celebrate another milestone in its pursuit of excellence as it begins activities marking its 36th convocation ceremony. At a press conference heralding the event, the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Adenike Oladiji, announced that a total of 2,747 students who have excelled in both character and learning will graduate during the 2024-2025 academic session. Out of the figure, 240 students will bag first-class honors.
We have 240 first-class graduates, 1,479 second-class upper graduates, 912 second-class lower division graduating, and 116 with a third class, making a total of 2,747. We have 627 MTech graduates, 86 PGD graduates, and 154 PhD students, all graduating.
Professor Oladiji highlighted that FUTA has continued to record significant achievements in teaching, research, entrepreneurship, and global partnerships, positioning the station among the leading technology universities in Africa. She said as part of the convocation activities, the university will commission several completed projects aimed at providing a more conducive environment for learning and research.
In just 3 years, this administration has not only reaffirmed FUTA's status as Nigeria's premier university of technology, but has also charted a bold path towards global recognition and excellence.
Appreciating the Ondo State Governor for his sustained support, the Vice-Chancellor reaffirmed the institution's commitment to building on past successes while charting new paths of growth and innovation. Activities marking the week-long event include Jumat and interdenominational services, novelty football match, career talk, exhibition, lecture, and award presentation. Joy Pius, Osrc News.
Meanwhile, teachers are often described as the backbone of any nation, the silent builders of human capital and who shape the minds that define the future. But Nigeria's classrooms are fast losing these nation builders. In recent years, the country has witnessed a troubling shortage of teachers, worsened by poor welfare and brain drain. Blessing Obe reports on the growing crisis and what can be done to fix it. Her report.
Education remains one of the strongest drivers of social and economic progress, and teachers sit at the very heart of it. Yet, Nigeria's education system is currently facing a manpower drought. According to the Universal Basic Education Commission, as of 2025, only about 910,000 teachers are serving more than 31 million pupils across both public and private primary schools nationwide, a ratio of roughly 1 teacher to 34 pupils, far above UNESCO's recommended 1:25 standard. The National Bureau of Statistics also reports that the number of registered primary school teachers grew by just 4.3% between 2020 and 2022, from 1.41 million to 1.47 million, a rate far below population and enrollment growth. Behind these figures lies a deeper problem. Many teachers are leaving the profession and even the country in search of better pay and opportunities. Experts say the trend is linked to poor remuneration, irregular promotion, outdated training systems, and low societal respect for teachers.
We have brain drain. We have people migrating from Nigeria to other climes to want to work, not because there's no job here in Nigeria, but they haven't gotten that job satisfaction. Government on its own have tried severally to want to motivate people to remain, to take up teaching as a profession. Part of those things they did then was to now say anybody who is going to college education, they will be paying them 50,000 naira as allowance. For anybody going to the university, they give them 75,000 as allowance. But I continue to say that even if you give them 1 million naira to go and study education, by the time they finish and they are out of school, insofar as government is not taking care of the welfare of teachers as priority, they will also veer off into other professions. They will travel out of the country. So what could be done now is that the government is going to put up a special package for teachers. They should recognize teachers as those who are the builders of other professions.
The consequences are stark: overcrowded classrooms, declining academic performance, and a growing number of children falling behind. UNICEF reports that approximately 17% of Nigerian children aged 10 lack basic literacy skills, unable to read or comprehend simple texts. However, some state governments are beginning to respond. In Ondo State, Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa recently approved the recruitment of 1,100 teachers across both primary and secondary schools, part of efforts to tackle teacher shortage, boost quality education, and create jobs for qualified graduates.
The government is now improving in the welfare of workers in the education sector, especially teachers. With Ondo State recruiting a large number of teachers, both in the primary schools of sector and the secondary schools of sector, I think the improvement has really come on board and the brain drain syndrome has drastically reduced.
Education stakeholders believe the Nigerian needs to replicate such initiatives nationwide, backed by better pay, continuous professional development, housing and health incentives, and policies that restore respect and dignity to the teaching profession. They also call for partnerships with the private sector and international organizations to strengthen teacher training and retention. Experts agree that solving the teacher shortage and brain drain challenge begins with valuing teachers, not just in words, but in action and policy. Blessing Obe, Osrc News.
Young girls have been encouraged to embrace personal hygiene and adopt healthy ways to manage their emotions. This advice came during the Take a Girl, Part a Girl Child initiative organized by the Ondo State government through the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development to promote menstrual hygiene and healthy living among schoolgirls. Blessing Obe again reports.
According to UNESCO, 1 in every 10 girls in sub-Saharan Africa misses school during their menstrual period due to lack of access to sanitary materials and proper menstrual hygiene. To address this challenge, the Ondo State government, through the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development, launched the Tech a Girl, Pad a Girl Child Initiative, a campaign designed to empower young girls, promote menstrual hygiene, and boost their confidence. The sensitization campaign began in Ondo South Senatorial District with the first stop at Methodist High School, Okitipupa. Here, students received engaging lessons on healthy living, digital literacy, and emotional management. They were also reminded that menstruation is not a source of shame, but a natural sign of strength and womanhood.
The most important thing for you to know is that when you start early, you are going to complete it early. If you start menstruation at the age of 10 years, it is possible that by the time you are 45, 47, 48, you are already reaching your menopause. If you start your menstruation at the age of 15, 16, is it at the age of 50, 55, 60, you are reaching your menopause. When you start early, you finish early.
At the end of the session, each student received sanitary pads. Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Dr. Shiun Osamaye, described the initiative as a timely intervention to support adolescent girls, urging them to maintain good hygiene and self-care practices.
You can see the excitement of our girls. We are live at Methodist High School, Okitipupa, and we are here to sensitize our girls on digital literacy and menstrual hygiene. You can see the turnout, they are happy. Today we've been able to teach them, to guide them on how to manage their emotions, how to behave well, how to have good attitudes, and of course how to maintain healthy living. It's important for the girls to imbibe good menstrual hygiene so that they can live well, they can live healthily. We've had the training, it's wonderful, and the distribution of the sanitary pads is for them to have it so that they can, make use of it after or during their menstruations.
We are very glad. It's very, very impactful and at the same time interesting. The students will like the way the government has taken this program. In fact, it's a mode of encouraging the students. And even the topic, well stated. Personally, I have learned from what has happened today.
The team also visited Adewale High School, Ore, where similar messages were shared and sanitary pads distributed, reaffirming the Ondo State government's commitment to creating an enabling environment for girls to thrive. The initiative is expected to be extended to other senatorial districts across the state. Blessing Obi, Osrc News.
The Managing Director of the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NEL Fund, Akintunde Soya, has taken sensation on the student loan to Ekiti with a charge to parents to encourage their children to take advantage of the opportunity to acquire education, according to a statement made available to newsmen in Abuja by Omojola Shiun Ojerinde. On behalf of the fund, Soya was quoted as saying that President Bola Tinubu is keen on taking the burden of funding tertiary education away from parents. The NEL Fund CEO, who spoke at the palace of Ore of Otuekiti and the paramount ruler of Moba local government of Moba land, Oba Adekunle Adeagbo, urged parents to encourage their children in public tertiary institutions to participate in the federal government student loan scheme. The Tinubu-led administration's initiative provides interest-free loans to students in public tertiary institutions to cover tuition and living expenses. Since its inception, NEL Fund has disbursed over 116.4 billion naira in student loans, covering both institutional fees of 65.3 billion naira and upkeep allowances to students of 51.1 billion naira across 239 universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education nationwide. Ondo State Governor Loki Ayedati was congratulated two of Nigeria's most celebrated journalists and public intellectuals, Olusegun Adeniyi and Rubel Abati, on their 60th birthday. While Adeniyi marks his Diamond Jubilee on November 6, Abati celebrates his on November 7, 2025. Governor Ayedati was described both men as distinguished figures whose work has shaped journalism and enriched Nigeria's national discourse. He commended their intellectual contributions to the promotion of democratic values and the strengthening of media practice in the country. He noted that Mr. Adeniyi's illustrious career, spanning his service as special advisor on media and publicity to the late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua and his leadership as chairman of the editorial board of this day newspaper, reflect a rare blend of professionalism, moderation, and integrity. The governor also lauded Abati for his decades of insightful commentary and national engagement, citing his years at The Guardian, his service as special advisor on media and publicity to former President Goodluck Jonathan, and his ongoing influence as a broadcaster and analyst. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has commenced the distribution of sensitive and non-sensitive materials for tomorrow's Anambra State governorship election. The materials, which arrived at the Central Bank of Nigeria, Oka branch, on Wednesday, were distributed under the supervision of the Anambra State Resident Electoral Commissioner Elizabeth Agu amid tight security. Agu said early distribution was necessary to ensure that all election materials reached their locations ahead of the poll, adding that INEC was fully prepared for a smooth and credible exercise. At the CBN premises, party agents monitored the sorting and distribution of sensitive materials, including the bimodal voter accreditation system, forms EC8A and EC8B, under the watch of security personnel. Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Police overseeing the election, Abayomi Shogunlen, announced an increase in security deployment from 45,000 to 55,000 personnel. Abia State Governor Alex Oti has approved an increase in monthly allowances for members of the National Youth Service Corps serving in the state, raising the payment from 4,000 naira to as much as 50,000 naira. The new allowance structure provides a 20,000 base allowance for all corps members serving in Abia. Those deployed to state government establishments will receive an additional 10,000 naira, while medical and teaching corps members will earn an extra 30,000 naira monthly. Corps has said the increment complements the federal government's new 77,000 naira monthly NYC allowance and forms part of government's broader policy to strengthen youth empowerment and public sector capacity in Abia. It added that OT's administration has consistently supported corps members by renovating the NYC orientation camp in Benden local government area, improving internal roads, installing power infrastructure, and upgrading camp facilities, despite camp being federal property. The governor said the reforms are designed to make service rewarding for corps members and to encourage young professionals to contribute meaningfully to Abia's growth. The Federal High Court in Abuja has fixed December 20 for the delivery of judgment in the terrorism case brought against the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. Justice James Omotosho announced the date while ruling on the matter after Kanu failed to open his defense, having exhausted the 60 days allocated to him by the court to present his case. The judge held that since Kanu failed to utilize the opportunity granted to him to conduct his defense, he could not claim to have been denied his constitutional guaranteed right to a fair hearing. Meanwhile, Kano on Friday made a motion challenging his trial on the grounds that terrorism was no longer an offense in Nigeria. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll give you more stories. Please stay with us.
Company.
Welcome back, and thank you for being a part of the news. Can you also watch us on www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook at Osrc TV, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel Osrc TV Ondo. We now move straight to the foreign scene. Sudan's Rapid Support Forces has announced the acceptance of a ceasefire proposal, even as reports emerged that civilians were killed and abducted during and after the group's capture of the city Al-Fasir. Victoria Olawale completes this.
The town of Tawila in Sudan is now a sanctuary for a vast number of displaced people, many of them having fled to the city of Al-Fasher, the capital of Sudan's North Darfur region. That city fell last week to fighters from the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, RSF, which has been locked in a 2.5-year civil war with Sudan's army. The RSF, in a statement on Thursday, said it had agreed to a proposal from the United States and Arab countries for humanitarian ceasefire. The Sudanese army did not immediately respond to the RSF announcement. Both the RSF and the Sudanese army have agreed to various ceasefire proposals, though none have succeeded. Witnesses say the RSF killed and abducted civilians during and after its capture of Al-Fasher, including in summary execution. Videos from Tawila released by the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees on Thursday showed people living in a makeshift shelters. A representative from the North Region Refugee Council said some children fleeing Al-Fasher were severely malnourished, that treatment may not be able to save them. Up to 10,000 people have arrived in Tawila. The town was overwhelmed by hosting more than 600,000 internally displaced persons since April. The United States, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates and Egypt called in September for a 3-month humanitarian truce in Sudan to be followed by a permanent ceasefire. Victoria Olawale, OSRC News.
A new wave of young candidates in Iraq is seeking to mobilize voters for under 40, aiming to inject fresh energy into a political system long controlled by an older, entrenched elite. Many of these aspiring politicians are running on platforms that emphasize job creation, anti-corruption reforms, and improved access to education and technology. Olawole Aderonken reports.
Posters for parliamentary candidates line the roads in Baghdad ahead of Iraq's elections next week, and a significant number of younger candidates hope to bring out voters under the age of 40 to participate in a democracy long dominated by older entrenched interest. In Baghdad, 21-year-old Ahmed Maghzan said he was excited to vote. Is part of a generation that came of age in the decades following the fall of Saddam Hussein in 2003. Ali Amala is a 31-year-old civil activist, but many Iraqis remain skeptical, saying the November 11th vote unlikely to bring real change to the country's stagnant politics. Some of the same powerful groups still control the state and its oil wealth since Saddam Hussein's fall. An anti-government protest against unemployment and corruption were met with a harsh crackdown in 2020. 2023 that changed the approach of Walid Udha. The 42-year-old has a master's degree in chemistry and previously participated in anti-government protests. He is now a candidate for the Civil Democratic Alliance in Baghdad. Udha said past demonstrations led to bloodshed and repression. He said he hopes participation in democracy will energize the people, and youth seeking to change status quo will face stiff resistance. Adirunke Kolawole, Osrc News.
I will go straight to sports now. Nigeria's football authorities are anxiously awaiting FIFA's response following their former protest against what they describe as a clear conflict of interest in the appointment of South African and Benin Republic match officials for the Super Eagles crucial 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying playoff against Gabon. The decisive first leg fixture is scheduled for Thursday next week as the Prince in Rabat, Morocco, with the winner advancing to the next phase of the qualification series, according to the appointment list signed by Gordon Savic, FIFA's head of qualifiers and international matches. Abogel Tom of South Africa will serve as the central referee, while Akuna Seneth Makalima, another South African, will hold the video assistant referee team. Hugo's Allen Jovi from Benin Republic will act as a referee assessor. The Nigerian Football Federation, in a protest letter, argued that assigning officials from South Africa and Benin Republic, two nations that were in Nigeria's qualifying group, create a serious conflict of interest and undermines the principle of neutrality required in international officiating. And that's it on the news tonight. But before we go, take another look at the main points. Ondo State government has launched a Pad a Girl campaign to promote menstrual hygiene and emotional well-being. We'll inform you that experts have warned of a worsening teacher conflict deficit of over 31 million pupils rely on fewer than 1 million educators, calling for improved welfare and training to retain Nigeria's teacher. We'll also informed you that Abia State Governor Alex Oti has raised core members' allowances from 4,000 naira to 50,000 naira monthly to empower youth and improve NYSC welfare in the state. And from the foreign scene, we informed you that Sudan's Rapid Support Forces have accepted a ceasefire proposal amid report of civilian killings. And that's it on the news tonight. Well, thank you for being a part of it. Good evening.